So it's early Wednesday morning. I'm gonna get this video out today, don't worry. I just tried making it last night. I tried twice. The first time, the camera wasn't recording. I did like the whole video and the camera wasn't recording. The second time, it died near the end. So yeah, this is attempt 3 at 7:30 in the morning. So the last two videos in this mini-series, I just sat down in front of the camera and let myself ramble on about internationals, about 2014 and 2015, and what I learned from those experiences. This time, however, the video is scripted. Why is it scripted? It's scripted so that I say what I want to say, I don't say what I don't want to say, I don't say what I really shouldn't say, and it's an incredibly long story and I don't want to leave out any parts, and so that at the end, the message that I get across to you guys is made very clear. And before I start anything, I just want to graciously remind my viewers that everything from here on out, this is my opinion from my perspective and my side of the story. There's always another side to every story. So the quizzing year from 2015 to 2016, we did the books of Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, and Colossians. And to be very honest, it was the best year that I ever had in quizzing, competition-wise. I don't know how it's done in other districts, but here in CMD we have 5 quiz meets. The first quiz meet is actually a day meet, and due to the size of our district, it's usually held in 2 or 3 different places. It's just a one-day fun little meet to just sort of introduce the rookies to Bible quizzing and just have fun. Then sometime in the fall, we have the half-district meet, and because our district is again so big, usually we're split down the middle. Those in the east do their thing, those in the west do their thing. And then we have our 3 district meets. We have first districts, second districts, and finals. You were expecting me to say third districts, weren't you? Now, these 3 meets are the only meets that count towards your individual average going to internationals, so they're pretty important. Now, at the first district meet that year, I got second place individually, and at the second district meet, I got first place individually. And at finals, I actually don't know what I got at that meet because they have a tendency to just announce the top 10 of the year and not the top 10 of that particular meet, something that I really hope changes because it doesn't actually make a lot of sense. Anyway, at finals, when they announced the top 10 of the year, I got 3rd place overall. As you can probably piece together, I was pretty good at what I was doing. I had pulled myself together from that horrible disaster of a time at internationals in 2015, and I came back strong and confident. So why was 2016 the best and the worst year I ever had at internationals? Sit down, grab your kombucha, and buckle up, folks, because it is a long story. Let's get into it. Oh, this is kombucha. I swear it's kombucha. I don't drink. Since this was my 3rd year at internationals, I guess you could say I knew what I was doing. Even though oftentimes I have self-confidence issues, Bible quizzing was the one place where I could be confident. I had started off being the youngest quizzer on the international team to being one of the oldest and the most experienced. I was comfortable. Bible quizzing was my safe place. Now, for this story to make any sort of sense, we're going to have to step away from the topic of quizzing for a quick minute so I can tell you what other situation made this year just a little bit more stressful. So, as a lot of you know, I'm a writer, and I'm on this writing website called Wattpad. And if any of you care, my book is in the link in the description. I hear it's pretty good. It's also pretty long. Anyway, when I was 15, I made a friend on this writing website. This friend was an American, and well, we actually hit it off pretty well. This friend was also a boy. There is a lot more to that story, but we do not have time for that today. We ain't going over that. I don't know. To keep this short and sweet, we were like, hey, look, since Internationals is down in Spokane, Washington this year, we should meet up and he could come watch me quiz. It was easy. It was simple. I mean, all he had to do was drive like 9 hours across the country. I mean, well, we had to drive like 9 hours, so I mean, whatever, right? It was simple. It was easy. It wasn't supposed to be as complicated as it got. Things got complicated when the news of my plans reached the ears of the coaches leading the international trip. Let's just say, at the end of the day, my parents had a meeting with the coaches, and it was all just like, it was stressful for me, okay? It was stressful. But now, flipping the picture, their concerns were founded. I mean, I met this guy online, and there are horror stories. They had 9 other kids under their care that they needed to ensure the protection of, so, I mean, yeah, their concerns were founded. I'm not going to hold that against them. However, the way the situation played out, I think it could have happened with a lot less stress. But then again, maybe all of that was just me because stress is my natural reflex. The bottom line was we couldn't meet up at the hotel where Internationals was being held. My parents and my sister, they came down in their own vehicle and they actually had to take me away from the competition to go meet my internet friend somewhere else. Again, all of that stuff is a story for another time. Let's just say that I am really good at first impressions. The reason why this little mini story is important is because the stress that it caused played into the rest of the situation. Delicately, but it was still there. I don't want to say that my view of my coaches was somehow tainted by how they handled the situation. I just felt mistrusted by them. Again, their concerns were founded, and I'm not going to hold that against them. It's just the laws and the rules that were laid out felt just a bit stifling. But I'm not going to go in depth into all of that. That's a story for another time. So we're at the meet and we're quizzing, and you know what? Everything was going really great. We had such a great group of kids that year. They were awesome. My team was amazing. My coaches, I love my coaches. I love them both dearly. They were just so intimidating. And I mean, can you blame me? One was a high school teacher and the other was the wife of a guy who did police work. So yeah, they're intimidating, but they were great. Everything was great and everything was stressful. There was a lot of pressure, and I mean, it wasn't something that I wasn't already used to. My coaches were competitive, I was competitive, my team was amazing, so naturally we made it into the championship round and we were the first team to make it into the top 3 into finals. It was awesome. But again, it was stressful. I'm going to admit I did feel a little bit ignored by my coaches. And it was no fault to them. I just seemed to be the quizzer that they didn't put a lot of effort into encouraging. Was it because I was the most experienced international quizzer on the team? Was it because I was just doing so heckin' good? After the fact, after hearing how I felt about the situation, one of my coaches told me that the honest truth was it was simply because I didn't seem to need it. I was there, I was chill, I was relaxed, I was ready. It just like nothing ruffled my feathers. In her exact words, you seem like nothing rattles you. You as in me. Which honestly is kind of baffling because I'm an INFP. Everything rattles us. Well, yeah, that entire week was just a boatload of stress. First, there was the situation with my online friend, and then there was my coaches who had such high expectations of me but didn't seem to be encouraging me. And I mean, they did. They did encourage me in their own ways. I just didn't seem to feel it. Also, did I mention that I had just come off of a week of being a kids camp counselor? So that was stressful. So that's 1, 2, now 3 weeks of just stress. everything should have been rattling me. And look, definitely, there were nights where I cried myself to sleep. Don't think that I was just cool, calm, and chill the entire time, man. No, I definitely cried myself to sleep a couple times. But at the end of the day, I think I know why I seemed so chill. Quizzing is my safe place. It was the place where I could just focus and not have to think about anything else but the next question coming up. So yeah, I came across as cool, calm, relaxed, and focused as if nothing rattled me. There was also the fact that due to the amount of stress that I was under, I had completely numbed myself to my emotions. And maybe that's why I did so well in the competition. And maybe that's also why I didn't know I had done so well in the competition. So now we get to the complicated mess. And you thought, what do you mean? How can this get any worse? So we made it to finals. As I mentioned before, finals is the first team to win 2 quizzes. So there's a minimum of 2 quizzes, maximum of 4. Thankfully this year, we cut it at the bud. We did 3 quizzes. We were awesome. We blew them out of the park. Actually, if we had blown them out of the park, we would have finished up in 2 quizzes. But no, we won finals and it was awesome. I would tell you about my harrowing reference question, but we don't have time for that today, so maybe another video. So my team won finals. It was great. And then after that came the award ceremony. Now at internationals, at least with CMD, we're always told that it's the team that matters. So most of the time you won't find quizzers from CMD really caring about their individual stats. I mean, I didn't care about any stats at all. I was just there to quiz, to do my job. So naturally, I guess that makes sense that I had no idea how good I had actually done at the meet itself. And at the end of the day, I didn't really care. I mean, look, at internationals, they announced the top 15. The top 15 individuals get medals. It's great. I had never been in the top 15 before. And you know what? If you're in the top 15, great. If you're not, whatever. So there they were announcing the top 15, and one of my teammates, he got 11th place, and that was really great because that was his first year at internationals. It was really exciting. Then they got to 6th place, and the announcer actually called up my coach because the announcer wasn't able to pronounce the last name of one of the quizzers that he was supposed to be announcing, which just so happened to be my teammate. Now, because of the situation and because I don't have permission to use names, I'm just gonna call her Jay. So Jay ended up getting 6th place, and that was really exciting. And for other people, it was rather confusing. The rest of the names were called out, and that was it. It was only those 2 CMD quizzers in the top 15. Now, I'm going to be very, very honest here. I don't remember thinking much about that. I remember thinking it was strange that Jay had gotten better than my other teammate. I mean, I didn't remember her getting up that much during the meet, but I wasn't keeping track of stats. As it turns out, there were people who were confused and suspicious and did some digging, and by the next morning, the error had been revealed. Somehow, my name and Jay's name had gotten switched in the stats. To this day, I don't think anyone knows how or why that happened. It was bizarre, really, because not only had our names been changed and our stats stayed the same, but our accuracies had also been changed, which actually made the whole situation a lot more complicated because while Jay's accuracy, if she had gotten my stats, would have placed her in 6th, my accuracy would have actually put me in 5th. So this involved not just me and Jay, but also the girl who got awarded the 5th place medal. She was actually 6th. And that meant that I had gotten 5th place at internationals that year. Like I said, a complicated mess. My teammate who had made 11th place, he was the one who brought the error to my coaches, and my coaches were shocked. And the statistician, when he found out, he was mortified. My dad naturally had figured it out, and he was all about setting things right. They kind of hit a brick wall, however, when one of the members of the committee said that they don't take trophies away from quizzers. And to top this all off, did I mention that neither I nor Jay were told about the situation? We actually found out ourselves that night at the hotel after many hours of traveling back towards Canada. All of us girls were in the room together and we decided to look at the stats, and from there it wasn't very hard to put two and two together. The thing that will probably always stay with me is what Jay did without even a second thought. She got up, she took the medal, and she gave it to me. It was actually a rather devastating moment, I think. She was in grade 12, it was her last year, and she had just found out that she hadn't done as good as she had been told she had done. Honestly, I felt horrible. I had no idea how to react. And the next morning, we took our newfound discovery to our coaches, only to find out that they already knew about it. That was a little bit shocking. The next shocking thing that happened was that they made me give the medal back. It was a mess. It was a big mess. Looking back on it, I think they wanted me to give the medal back because, well, honestly, it wasn't my medal. I hadn't gotten 6th place. But then again, neither had Jay. But even then, it was like... But I remember my coaches took Jay aside and they talked to her, and I just felt so bad. And I felt so ignored. I mean, yeah, they came and they talked to me too, but it was like, I don't remember much of what they said, honestly. It was sort of like white noise in the background of how I was feeling at the moment. Because yeah, I did feel ignored. There I was, having done exceptionally good at a quiz meet, better than I had ever done before, and nobody cared enough to fight for me. Their focus mainly was on Jay. And I mean, I understand that, but at the same time, it made me feel selfish. It made me feel horrible for being upset about it. I mean, look at Jay. To get awarded a medal only to find out that you didn't actually deserve it, I think that's worse than just not getting the medal that you did deserve. At the end of the day, I didn't care about the applause. I didn't care about the medal itself. I just cared about the fact that I didn't feel fought for. I felt ignored. I cared that the people who were supposed to be fighting for me weren't. As you can see, I did eventually get my medal. I think there was like a Facebook post, an Instagram post. They gave me the medal in front of the other CMD quizzers. You know, whatever. I don't think the fact that I got 5th that year at internationals was really publicized at all. Heck, I don't even know if the girl who got awarded the 5th place medal actually ever found out that she was actually 6th. And honestly, at the end of the day, what does it even matter? At the end of it all, I learned a very powerful lesson in grace and humility. It can be just so easy to get angry with people. I mean, why didn't they fight for me? Why did my coaches realize in the moment that Jay's stats shouldn't have been higher than my teammate who had gotten 11th? I mean, they had to sign off on the stats after prelims. Didn't they realize that I had done good and that something should have been done the moment my name never came up in the top 15? I mean, it's so easy to get better about it. But at the end of the day, what is that going to do? It's just going to be another rock on the load on my back. It's not worth it. Yes, it's a situation that will stay with me for the rest of my life, and it's one that came with a lot of stress and a lot of hurt. But it also taught me how to come at things from a different perspective. It taught me how to put myself in others' shoes. What would I have done in this situation? I mean, what were they supposed to do? The idea of crashing the awards ceremony because the quizzer that they thought should be in the top 15 wasn't named, well, I mean, that sounds kind of a bit over the top. I can't say that I would have handled the situation any better than they did because I've never been in their situation. I've only ever been in mine. This situation taught me grace, and I can stand I can sit before you today and tell you that I hold nothing against any individual that was involved in the situation. I do, however, hold to the very strong conviction, especially as a Bible quizzing leader now, that we can do better. And that no quizzer should have had to have gone through what I did and what Jay did. What happened was unfair, it was devastating, it never should have happened. But it did. And all we can do now is move on and learn from our mistakes and move forward with grace and forgiveness and the determination not to let something like that ever happen again. I wish I could say that this was my one and only devastating experience with Bible quizzing, but I think God likes teaching me grace. Okie doke, so I think this is a good place to stop this video because I can tell it's already pretty long and I think I've said everything that I would like to say. Yeah, it was a really hard year for me in the whole stress factor and just how everything seemed to go wrong. But it was also a really amazing year for me in Bible quizzing itself. And yes, after all of that happened, I did lose a lot of my drive and passion for quizzing. And I found it actually rather shocking that I still made it to internationals the following year because I had just lost my drive. But I mean, that is, again, a story for another video. It'll be for the next video where we'll wrap up this little mini-series about my times at internationals. Again, if you're wanting to go to internationals, I say do it because while sometimes things go wrong, and that happens because we're all human, internationals is such an amazing time, it's an amazing experience, and there's amazing people to meet. Do it. Well, this is my third time making this video, and it is my last time making this video. Sarah out.